Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Destination Madrid, Eurovision Islands. Look ahead to this year's Junior Eurovision Song Contest. So, quickly, we're going to have our hello. So, hello, John Staggy,
Hi, folks.
Sarah,
Hi everyone.
James,
Everyone.
Bogdan,
Hi, everyone.
me, Richard. Hi, everyone. So, the final episode, we're looking at the two returning countries coming back to the contest. This year's host country, last year's winner, and of course, we'll round things off as we always do with Ireland. So we'll start with Cyprus, who best position so far is eighth in 2004 and 2006. And James is going to talk about Cyprus for us.
So, welcome back, Cyprus. This year, you're sending a song Crystal Waters by Maria Pissarides. And I think this is a good return to the contest. Greek has a natural melody to it, even though they're only distantly related. A lot of people comment how Greek has a very similar patter to Spanish, sort of in terms of rhythm of speech and things, which instantly makes it very lyrical, very musical. Um, I love the fact that this has a very danceable beat in there. There's also towards the middle, there's like a nice traditional riff. I'm like, that's good. Throw in a bit of, what makes it unique to your country. That's always a good thing. Um, I just said Greek has a very natural melody to it. English, slightly less so. And I feel like singing this song in a mixture of English and Greek maybe wasn't a great idea because it changes the rhythm of the song quite drastically. And it goes from being sort of very smooth, very poppy, you're having that really dance feel to it, to then feeling almost like spoken rap. It to me doesn't quite gel together, which is a shame. What I will say though is that I feel like Cyprus have been improving their game at the adult contest and they're now bringing it into JESC because this song has what I assume will be a dance break in it. And I feel like they've been watching their Fuego, their replay, their El Diablo, and they're thinking, okay, this goes down well with the adults. Let's see if it goes down with the kids as well. Um, Richard, you said the highest placing was eighth, didn't you?
Yes, high placing eighth.
Highest placing eighth. I reckon Cyprus could improve on that this year. I think this is a strong welcome back to the contest. So yeah, I'm impressed. Well done, Cyprus.
Brilliant. Thank you, James. So we're moving on to Spain, who, of course, won in 2004, which will be their 20th anniversary this year. So, Bogdan, how's this Spanish entry?
Funny you mentioned 2004, and I'll tell you why a little bit in a few moments. So this year, Spain sends Chloe La Rosa with the song Como la Lola. And now going back to 2004, this song really reminds me of that entry, Antes muerta que sencilla, which was a hit all over Europe in Junior and Eurovision. And this year, the song is really catchy. It has an infectious beat. You can clap along, you can sing along, you can dance to it. It has all the ingredients necessary to do well. The composers are Luis Ramiro, Alejandro Martinez, and David Bajeo, and of course, Chloe de la Rosa. And an interesting fact is that Luis Ramiro and Alejandro Martinez composed a Spanish entry from last year, Love You, which came second, as we know. So all the ingredients are there. Chloe is very charismatic. The song is fun. I expect a really good choreography as well because it's the beat like we know from all the popular songs, and we must have a choreography on the stage. And I think Spain wants to do well this year, especially hosting the contest. It will be their pride and joy to send something they can be really proud of. So I'm expecting a really good show from Spain. So well done. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you, Bogdan. We're now moving over to France, who hold the joint record of winning three times alongside Georgia. They won in 2020, 2022, and 2023. And Sarah is going to tell us about this year's French entry.
Well, first of all, we all know what France are capable of because they've won in 2020, 2022, and 2023. And apart from that, they came second in 2018. So wow, what a record. I mean, so definitely we know that France get Junior Eurovision, most definitely. And I think this year's entry is by Titouan, and he's singing Comme si, comme ça. And I think it's not far along the lines of the past French entries, to be honest. So when I first he's a singer that's another singer from the Voice Kids France. and he's from Brittany. So that's what I've read about him. So when I first heard this, I've only seen a preview video, which he did in the Gare de Lyon station. And when it started off, I thought, oh, this is going to be a little bit like last year's Chloe's song from last year. Yeah. So it starts off very slowly on the piano, and then it just bursts into this very sort of anthemic sounding concert where all the crowd join in. And it's a very sort of party sort of song for me. And I think sort of a lot of how this successful this is going to be is going to go down to the staging. If you can get that atmosphere on the staging, I think France are going to be on to possibly another winner again. Dare I say it? If not, certainly top five. So yeah, I quite like it. Perhaps not as much as sort of some of the other French entries, but yeah, I think France are going to do well again.
Thank you, Sarah. Now we're moving on to the other returning country for this year's contest, and that is San Marino, who has finished 10th in 2013 as their best position. James, let us know this year's San Marinese entry.
Okay, so welcome back, San Marino. This year they're sending a song called Comme Noi by Idols SM. Now, as I said, Cyprus are coming back, and I feel like they're coming back in glory, and this could potentially do very well for them. San Marino, on the other hand, I'm not as convinced this has the strength to do particularly well. Musically, it's very strong. It's got quite a club vibe to it. I think that works really well. I felt like the version of the song I was listening to, it sort of almost had cranked up the music a little too high. It sort of sounded like the music was overpowering the vocals, but I can't help but wonder if that was deliberate. I like what it's trying to do. I like the fact that it's a group of teenage girls sort of singing about being a young person in the 2020s and sort of all the things that they, want out of life. They want to be liked, they want to have fun, they want all these things. So I like that, I think, as a message that will, resonate with a lot of Junior Eurovision's audience. I'm not sure I like it as the sum of its parts, though. It will be interesting to see where this finishes at the contest. I think we've definitely seen stronger from San Marino, but again, after coming back to the contest after a few years, the contest changes, it moves on. You sort of almost have to relearn where things are. So yeah, be interesting to see how Junior Eurovision's smallest serving nation ends up on the scoreboard.
Thank you, James. And finally, we move over to Ireland, who achieved their best place in Yerevan, where James, John, and I witnessed it in 2022 when they got 4th place. So, John, tell us about this year's Irish entry.
Okay, well, it's called Lakayla, which means together, and it's by Anya Cox Dempsey. Now, the lyric, it's a song about optimism. It's really optimistic song. It's really good, and we need a bit of optimism at the moment, I think. So, it's a song that could strike a chord if people have the subtitles on that Saturday evening and get it, they'll get the song of optimism, and yeah, this could do something. This really could. It's on 16th out of 17, and it's the last up tempo song. Because there's only Malta coming after it, which is a slower song. So this could, the crowd will have got going by now. There's a lot of na na na's going on in the chorus, and there's the instrumental break when they could really make a meal of that. They could really make a meal of that. The song itself, she's a pretty good singer. She's gonna have a good crowd with her. I really do like this. 4th in Yerevan. Whether it can win, I would love to see it win, wouldn't you? Who wouldn't mind going to a JESC in Ireland, eh? I think this could really do something. This could get Ireland's best ever result, says he. There's a lot of stuff going from it. As James mentioned, some of the parts of this one is actually pretty good. It's got a catchy song. It's nice and upbeat. It could almost cut it to the big ESC, actually, this sort of song. So if there are parents watching, if there are just the curious watching on a Saturday evening, that are neither parents nor kids, they could really get into this as well. Am I speaking highly enough of this one? Because I do really like it. Um, I would love to see this, and thank you to TG Kaha for putting in something like this, and I really hope it gets the result that we want. Thanks, Rich.
Thank you, John. So, as always, go around the room. Do we think there's any potential winners in this selection? I think I know the answer. So, John.
There is one of these five stood out to me the moment I first heard it, and I want to say to that country, stop trying and give the rest of Europe a chance, please. But that aside, there are two that really stand out to me, that could win.
Thank you, Sarah.
I think there's two potential winners there, possibly a third. It's a pretty good group of songs.
Thank you. James.
I just want to echo John and say, please stop winning. Please let someone else win for a change. I think this is an incredibly strong group of songs. If the wind's blowing in the right direction, I think four of them have a chance at doing, top four very easily. Yeah, this is a tough one to call. I reckon it could be one of any of these countries.
Thank you. And Bogdan.
I can see at least two winners and maybe another two in top five. Who knows? But I like lots of songs from this group, so I'm rooting for everyone.
And
Yeah.
I have to agree. Two potential winners and two potential of the top five countries. I think we've all sort of mirrored the same answer there. So, as this is the last episode, I thought I'd throw a question out at you. I've had to write it down because it's so long. So the move back to a Saturday evening as a trial this year, do you think it is a good move considering we've already got at the time of recording four non-participating countries of Croatia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, and Montenegro broadcasting it to? So do we think it's a good move? John?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Saturday night, yep, great for the ratings, one of the peak nights in the week. But this is a song for children. This is a contest for children, and if you want the children watching, it's going to be starting at 8 p.m. in Ireland, 9 p.m. Central Europe, even later the further east you go. So that might be past kids' bedtimes. That's where the Sunday afternoon pay dividends, because it was a song that it was a contest that could be watched by kids because it is for kids. I can see why they're doing it, but I think I prefer it to be on a Sunday afternoon myself.
The timings are slightly earlier, thankfully. So it's going to be 5 p.m. GMT for Ireland and 6 p.m. CET for the rest of Europe.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more child friendly.
Yeah, I still
And I
prefer
think
it.
it's slightly early from when it first started back in 2003 as well.
Yeah, but I still think a Sunday afternoon would be better.
Yeah. Sarah, what do you think?
I've got a biased view of this actually, because I actually think it's one of the reasons why the UK aren't in it this year is because of that Saturday night, because it's clashing with one of our major shows, which we all know is Strictly Come Dancing. So from that point of view, I'm a bit disappointed with that, because I think had that not been the case, we may have seen the UK back again this year, considering the fact we've had a couple of good results in the last couple of years. But I suppose on the other hand, the Saturday night does give it a little bit more credibility. Yeah, because it's a major TV day, isn't it? I think the timing, as you just said, Richard, about the timing, I think had it been sort of late, I would have had the same concerns as John, really. In fact, the emphasis is it's a children's show, first and foremost. Yeah, but it's Junior Eurovision. But the fact that it's on a little bit early in the evening will probably work in its favour. It's going to be interesting to see what the figures turn out like.
Thank you, Sarah. James, what do you think?
I agree largely with John and Sarah. I can see why they've put it on Saturday, and I think that sort of legitimizes it as like a second Eurovision event, because it's not something we're just sticking on in the afternoon. We're trying to make this a prestige Eurovision event, which I think they've sort of struggled with until fairly recently. I think Junior Eurovision's only just starting to catch up to the adult contest. I think going on the Saturday evening, they are going to be struggling against primetime TV in a lot of countries, which it'll be interesting to see if the brand has developed enough that it can sort of stand by itself. It's not still considered too niche. Yeah, Sunday afternoon was nice. I think the one thing John said about potentially running quite late in the evening is if it's a Saturday, at least no one's going to school the next day, so that might work in its theory, but work in its favour even. It's an interesting one. I think, like Sarah said, I'll be interested to see the viewing figures afterwards before sort of making a definitive call about whether it's a good idea. But I can see there are reasons to move it and reasons to keep it as well.
Thank you. Boltan?
I quite like the idea that the contest will be on Saturday. I just wish it would be a little bit earlier, so we won't clash with other programs that are already having high ratings. But I like the idea in general, and I'm really curious as well to see how it will go this year and see the results in viewers. But yeah, I applaud the idea. So
I must admit, when I read it was a trial, because we didn't know about it back in May when Madrid was announced, I knew Lithuania was broadcasting last year and this year with an eye to return. Maybe with it being back to Saturday early prime time, that might just encourage them a bit more. Luxembourg was a big surprise yesterday when they announced, or whether they're thinking, oh, Eurovision was a success this year, Saturday night maybe, Junior. Croatia, I think they're only broadcasting because Baby Lasagna's success. And Montenegro said earlier in the year before the Saturday night thing was even announced that they'd broadcast it again in a view to possibly return. So yeah, I can see swings and roundabouts, timings, etc. But I think generally a good move. So to finish off, don't forget you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and of course all the build up on the website. But for now, from all of us, we'll see you in Madrid. Bye.